Hi, I'm Christina Myers, host of The Stina Life. In this episode, we will talk about the collective conflict energy that is forcing us into power struggles and a fight for our own sovereignty, and how the world of energetics is changing as our crystalline structures are coming online. Let's get into it. Hello, and welcome to the podcast. Happy October to everybody. I can't believe that we are already a week into this new month. This week has been crazy, flying by so fast. And these shifts that are occurring are moving at record-breaking speed. In fact, I feel like the timelines are collapsing at even a greater rate than what I think most of us, including most intuitives that I listen to, have been predicting. A lot of folks are talking about 3-year cycles of things, and there's a big 3-year cycle with this shift into the fifth dimension consciousness and the splitting occurring. But man, it feels like we are just at a greater acceleration of these timelines, and I believe it is because a lot of us have made such a commitment to do the personal work, to release from the things that have kept us locked into place and really fully step into our missions at a greater rate. It has truly been this crazy shift that has happened. And, for most of you, you came into the earth plane in this lifetime realizing that your main mission was to really do the work to fully release from those binds. And that included cleaning up, the ancestral trauma that you were carrying, releasing from the past lifetimes, unwinding all of that emotional binding that had kept you in a looping cycle as well. That's not easy work. That is hard work. And most of you came in with these setups that were very complex, very hard. In addition to just your own personal stuff, you were probably also carrying a lot of this for the collective as well. And that was a heavy burden to carry. So that would, really make you feel as though that you were tapped in and feeling all of this energy, even at a greater rate than most humans here on Earth were feeling. So it was a tall order. And a lot of the work that you have been doing has been helping to accelerate these timelines at even a greater rate. I'm not really sure what it would be worse. I don't know if it's worse to have to carry all this energetic weight and work to shed that, or if it's going to be a lot worse to just blindly move through the world and not aware of anything that's going on. I guess in some ways, ignorance is bliss. That could be one way to approach it, right? But for me, and I think probably for you all as well, I prefer to be awake. I prefer to understand what's going on around me. Even if that can be painful and hard, I think really the greatest reward that we have is to be able to recognize what we have signed up for, what constructs we put on ourselves, what lessons we asked to have, and then be able to unshackle from that, be able to release from it. And there is an accomplishment, such an accomplishment and rewarding feeling that you have when you're able to do the work and you're able to unshackle from those ties that bind us. So congratulations to each one of you, because the individual pieces that you are working on, that you have been working on and that you're continuing to work on is huge for helping to shift things in the collective right now. As I am recording this, it is Sunday, October the 8th. The astrology, as I have been talking about, and when I broke it down in the October astrology overview, this is eclipse season. This is not going to be necessarily an easy month for the collective. We've had a really hard summer. It seems like things just keep coming and these twists and turns just keep happening. And I talked about that, we've really been working on relationships all summer, letting go of things. There's been a lot of major shifts happening. And that was a lot in part to Venus being in retrograde. Of course, we had so many planets in retrograde all summer. Venus was a really big one. It was a hard one because it was all focusing on our relationships. It was focusing on the love that we give to ourselves. It was focusing on our own value systems. What is my value system versus what is the value system that I was conditioned to believe it to be? And it was in the sign of Leo during this time, which was giving us a lot of our own self-realization, self-power, a lot of empowerment, a lot of, that fiery energy stepping into that solar plexus of taking charge of our own destiny, taking charge of what it is that we truly wanted to have. And putting that first, right? It's been this very, very much this tug of war of releasing from others' expectations into what are our own expectations for ourselves. Well, as of today, Venus has moved into the sign of Virgo. So we are going to have Black Moon Lilith, which is where we suppress our greatest desires, and Venus in a conjunction in the sign for a few weeks. But within Virgo, what we're doing is we're integrating. So we're going to do some reflecting on what is it that we learned during this Venus retrograde. How can we bring in more love into our day-to-day lives, our day-to-day routines? And how can we release trying to meet others' expectations in order to love ourselves fully? Because when we love ourselves, we can truly love others much easier. Black Moon Lilith is going to, again, bring up a little bit more shadow side because she's definitely a shadow energy. So we're going to not be fully out of the gate, out of the clear, I guess I should say, free and clear with her there for a couple weeks. But again, we're going to have a more overriding theme of being able to really recognize things and then start to integrate them in. But I think the biggest shift, at least for today, is we have Mars squaring Pluto. So Mars is in Libra, which we'll talk about in a second. And Pluto is in Capricorn. It's been in Capricorn for some time, dancing between Aquarius and Capricorn and Aquarius and Capricorn. So this is a power struggle day with this aspect. And again, we are working on pulling back our power back to us, right? Unshackling from the powers that are outside of us and pulling our power back into us and looking at where have we been giving away our power, but also where have people been overstepping or systems been overstepping to try and hold power over us. And we're seeing this playing out on the world stage, right? We have a massive conflict going on in Israel right now. And with Pluto and Capricorn, Capricorn's all about these old structures. It's about control. It's about power. It's about the patriarchy, right? It is these structures and this power grab that, is desperate to stay in control. Libra, on the other hand, with Mars and Libra, Mars is giving us the energy, the drive, the ability to really say, okay, I'm not going to continue to play this game. I'm not going to continue to overgive. I'm not going to continue to be the bicycle built for two. I'm not going to try and keep the peace at all costs. I am stepping into my own sovereignty to find my own inner peace and balance and harmony. It feels very much aligned to the dichotomy that we are experiencing, straddling between this third dimensional reality and this fifth dimension consciousness, right? Capricorn truly is about the third dimension. It is truly about structures, right? And third dimension is all about, having these structures in place. The fifth dimension consciousness helps us to release from that. There is no binding. There is no structures per se in the same sense. And so this is what the tension and the conflict is about, trying to break free from that. And I think the big question is, what are we going to choose to do? Are we going to continue to push agendas of fear and, control and all of the things that have been happening to try and keep some sort of structures in place? Or are we going to choose peace and love and harmony? It really is the big choice that we are all having to make right now, isn't it? And we all have free will. We all have a choice. And we can choose to stay within the constructs of what's familiar and what's comfortable. But that's not normal. I just want to say the systems that have been built, the things that we are seeing is not normal. It's become our normal because that's all we have never known. But if we want to look at it, it's not normal. Or we can choose to move into peace and love and harmony. And that requires us to step into the unknown. We don't know what that looks like. And that can be scary. Or we can stay in what's familiar and comfortable. There's, I think, this philosophy, this saying that, a bird, if the bird's in the bird cage and it's all it knows, right? And you open the door to the bird cage, the bird has a choice, right? It can fly out of the bird cage and it can be free, but it's not going to know what's out there. Or it can just sit in its bird cage because that's what's familiar to it. That's what's comfortable. And that's really what we're working with right now. Are we going to fly out of the bird cage into the unknown, or are we going to sit in the bird cage because it's more comfortable for us? And the big question, is, are we going to trust and surrender? This is a common theme I've been talking about. Are we going to trust and surrender? And can we choose to trust and surrender to love, or will fear take us down? And what my guides keep telling me is that if we are locked into any construct of our human experience, anything, it's going to be very difficult for us to let go and surrender and trust and be able to move into this new state of consciousness. It's going to be really impossible to do that. If we have any ties to anything, if we're holding on to anything, like, oh my God, I love this pair of shoes, I can't let it go. Or, I can't do this because, I can't let go of my family, or I can't let go of the expectations, or whatever it is, right? These are the things that keep us locked in. And there's a quote that I love from Yeshua that was channeled through Carissa Schumacher in the Freedom Transmissions. And it says, your vibration must be higher than what you create. Otherwise, you cannot manage it. Your vibration must be higher than what you create. Otherwise, you cannot manage it. We have to raise our vibration in order to create a new reality. We have to do that. We have to do the work in order to raise the vibration. And that is the way we raise our vibration, is when we start to release from these constructs. We start to unshackle from the things that we have been conditioned around. And if we can't do that, then we can't step into it. We cannot manage it. It is at a different vibration. The future of what we're trying to create for a new earth is at a different vibration than what we have been accustomed to. And so we have to raise the vibration level to step into that. And what continues to bring us back down is when there's fear tactics going on, and when there's control tactics going on. And when these systems are trying to try anything possible to keep people in that fight or flight mode, keep them scared. If you keep people scared and you keep them in fear, you've got them right where you want them. I mean, that's been a massive political strategy for years that has been implemented. Keep them in fear, and you've got them right where you want them. But we have to keep the vibration so high in order for enough of us to be able to hold that vibration so we can step in. If you have a group of people together, say like you have 5 people, and at least one of those people can hold the vibration at the highest level possible, other people can dip down, like they can have a down day, they can feel low, they can feel scared. But as long as at least one person is holding that vibration at that highest level, they will be able to come right back up. Because as long as someone's holding that vibration of love, the fear piece has to match it. It can't stay in fear when there's a vibration higher within the energy field. So that's why it's going to take enough of us to stay in that higher vibration of love and peace and harmony for that energy to be able to match it. So the big question is, what are you going to choose? Are we going to choose faith, or are we going to choose fear? What are we going to choose at this point? And we're at a juncture again, another fork in the road with these events going on. Which path are we going to choose? And I just want to send out all the love and the peace energy to the people who are going through this tragedy, this war, this terrible thing, as well as all of those folks around the globe that are suffering right now through natural disasters, through other things that have kept people in fear. So I want to shift gears a little bit here and talk about some of the shifts that I am seeing within the fifth dimension consciousness from an energetics side of things. So I'm an energetics practitioner. I have taught and applied energy techniques for a few years now. And one of the things that I have always been very focused on is our chakra system. The chakra system has played a very important tool as part of the work that I do, but also of the human experience. If you're not familiar with the chakra system, the chakras, we have 7 main chakras that we work with. I work with 12. But there's 7 main chakra points that we work with within the system as practitioners. And they are tied to specific areas of the body. So we have the root chakra, which sits at the base of the spine. This is the color red. It is tied to our earth experiences. It is tied to our family conditioning. It sits at the base of the spine. And then the next one is the sacral chakra. This is the color orange. It is tied to our reproductive area. Then we have our solar plexus chakra, which sits at the stomach area. The color is yellow. It's tied to our personal power. Then we have the heart chakra that sits at the heart region. It is the color green or rose energy. And then we have the throat chakra, which is the color blue. Then we have the third eye chakra, which is the color purple, and it sits kind of right between the eyebrows and in that whole forehead area. This is our intuition. And then just above the head, we have our crown chakra, which ties us to source energy. And then there's other ones. There's the 8th, the 9th, and the 12th chakras, which sits way above the head. And those are chakra points for our Akashic records, are tied to source at the highest level, and they do different things. And then we have our 10th chakra, which is below the feet, which ties us to our ancestral lines and more about our human earth experience. And then we have an 11th chakra, which sits in our hands and our feet as well. So each of these chakras have different purpose, different meaning, and they are also tied to different emotions that we hold, especially those that are tied specifically on the body itself. So when I work with clients, and I do strictly just, hey, I want an energy session. Okay, great. So this is something that I always check on. I always check the chakra points. And I check the energy points to see which direction the energy is spinning, or if they're spinning at all. Sometimes they're not spinning at all. And sometimes they spin in different directions. So this always helps me to determine, when I'm working with a client, what area that needs the most focus, right? The body always is telling me, hi, my sacral chakra really needs a lot of attention. There's maybe some emotions that need to be released here. There's stuck energy here. So that's been the main purpose of doing energy work, is to help balance out the chakras, making sure that they're flowing smoothly, that the energies that need to be moved are cleared, and everything is flowing from source through the entire system. So again, been very important technique and tool that I have used for a long time. So a couple weeks ago, I'm on Instagram scrolling through some stories, and there is a woman that I follow that I heard talking about the fact that she is no longer seeing in some of her clients the chakra system. She's not seeing the chakra points individually anymore. They're no longer showing up when she is doing sessions. And it's funny because I keep hearing, and I keep seeing, my guides keep showing me, like the chakra systems are collapsing. It's all just one energy flow right now. It's one big energy flow. So last week I had a friend who is a practitioner who contacted me and said, any chance that, you would be up for doing an in-person session? Well, I haven't done any in-person sessions for probably over a year. Everything I do has been online for about a year and a half, because I've got clients all over the world. And what I was finding is I was renting a space where I live, and I would say 90% of the clients I was working with were doing online, sessions. So I decided, okay, forget it. I'm just going to go completely online. It just makes more sense. But she had reached out, and I said, of course, yeah, I would be more than happy to do that. But I said to her, I warned her, I said, I'm not quite sure what this is going to look like. I said, one, I haven't done an in-person session in some time. And two, I can just tell that things have really shifted. So I'm not exactly sure what this is going to look like. So whenever I have done in-person sessions, they're very much energy focused. So it's all about the energy points. And I also am an Usui Reiki master, along with a lot of other different kind of hands-on energy techniques. So I would always use the Reiki symbols on each chakra point as well, because they would then help to clear a lot of different energies out, like past life stuff, things in the future. They would help with emotional pieces. I mean, they're just fantastic pieces. And I have been a huge proponent of the Usui Reiki technique. It has always been the foundation of everything that I have done energy wise. I always do this. I would do this on myself every day. I would do it to clear spaces. I would use the Usui Reiki technique all day long, every day, all day long. I loved it, love it, love it, love it, love it. Well, this year I had been getting messages from my guides that I would no longer be using the Usui Reiki techniques, because when Usui Reiki was developed in the early 1900s, it was attuned at 5 dimension. That was the vibration of the energy. And it was great because most people were in third dimension, right? Almost everybody was in third dimension. So when you applied the energy to someone in third dimension that is at a 5-dimensional level, it was such a game changer, because it would help clear stuff out, clear out the stuck energies, but it would also create a state of bliss, right? And so you would do a session and people would be like in this euphoric state. They would be feeling like themselves again. All the weight that they were carrying, the emotions and everything else was lifted. And so I have loved it because I have seen such amazing results from it. And I've used it and I've taught it now for several years. And it's, again, always the base for everything I've done energetically. But after we made this switch to the fifth dimension consciousness, I have found that I have not been able to use these symbols anymore. It's been impossible really for me to use them. And every time I have gone and tried to use them, I can't do it anymore. So again, I was a little nervous doing an in-person session because I kind of have my little routine. People come in, we have a conversation. I usually will gather what they want to work on. So we set that intention. And then it's a very quiet session. I usually play music. I never talk. I just, apply the energy, apply the symbols, and then we talk afterward. And if I need to do some other techniques, I do those as well. So again, I'm a little nervous because I said, I just do not know what is going on. I do not know what's happening. And I don't normally talk because I want people to receive. And when you're talking at them, when they're trying to get energy work, I tend to find it a little distracting. This is my philosophy. This is my style. And every person who is a practitioner, their style is completely different. So everything moves a little bit differently. So this was interesting because she came in and it was a fully channeled session. I was talking the whole time. I mean, the energy was still coming through. It was insane, actually. It was so much energy, and it was an enormous amount of energies that were coming through, and my hands were just, fiery hot. So the energy is still flowing. It's just no symbols, no anything. Well, at the end of the session, I was doing what I normally do, which is I want to check the chakras with my pendulum to make sure, are they moving? Are they aligned? All the stuff, because I know we did a full cleanse. Everything, should be moving, no problem. Well, I start going up from the root to the crown, and there's nothing. There's absolutely nothing going on. I cannot find an individual chakra point at all to save my life. And this friend's definitely in the fifth dimension. No question, no doubt. I double checked everything, 100% in fifth dimension. She had a client, though, recently who came in for energy work. And this client's absolutely in third dimension, double checked it. All her chakra points are still there. But in this situation, she does not have these individual chakra points anymore. So I thought, okay, I'm going to try this on myself because I always do energy work on myself. I decided I want to try it on myself. Well, again, no individual chakra points anymore. When I move the pendulum up, when I got above my head, the pendulum started swinging. So I know I have source energy coming in, but I no longer have individual chakra points. And I know everything's clear because I have cleared it. And so, traditionally I should be spinning, but I literally have nothing. I don't have any fear going on. I've cleared out pretty much, I think, every emotion that I could possibly hold on to. And so there's literally nothing. And what the guides are showing me is that it's just one ball of white light, white energy that is flowing all the way through from crown all the way down. There's no more separation of, colors, any of those things. They're no longer coming up. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to try it on my dog too. And she does not have anything either. She has, the one over the head, and that's it. And I have done, energy work on her, and I've tested her chakras many times. And again, she's in one chakra point. So, of course, I've been getting this information from guides for a while that these shifts are happening, but our human mind needs some sort of confirmation that these shifts are occurring, and this was just one of those things that was very tangible. It's a very tangible experiment that I was able to use to go, okay, I think we definitely have made a major shift. I think there's definitely something that has happened that is shifting for sure. Our energy bodies, the crystalline bodies are definitely online. The energy points are definitely shifting. Something has definitely happened that we have made a major turn here. So I'm curious to hear from any of you as to, are you experiencing the same things? Are you seeing a shift within your energy fields? Or if you're a practitioner, are you seeing clients where the chakra points are no longer there anymore? So I'd be curious to hear from you all on what you are experiencing. And who knows what's next? Who knows what's coming? But it definitely does truly feel as though we have fully reached this whole new era, and everything that we thought was impossible, or those that channel information have been talking about, it truly feels like we are officially here. Thanks for listening to this episode. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe, rate, or leave a comment. For sessions and other upcoming offerings, please visit my website at stinamyers.com or follow me on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at The Stina Life. See you next time.